Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel. Wishing you a happy and healthy start to this nice windy and rainy actually Tuesday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. Many things to be speaking about today, as we did confirm a few of the major signals that we've been kind of mulling over for the past weeks, or the past couple weeks, that have been slowly but surely kind of coming about. So I wanted to follow up on that, and then what sort of the next few weeks looks like likely from a probabilistic standpoint. Anyways, other than that, I should let you know that we got a sale going on right now. It runs for the rest of the week. No rush into it. As always, when it comes to any one of these programs, please watch the promotional videos that accompany them, because they're going to explain who they're for, who they're not for, so you can make an educated decision if it's, even relevant to you, as obviously we don't want people who, shouldn't be in these programs not getting these programs. Anyways, okay, let's jump into it right now. I should also humbly request that if you do find this content valuable, then like and subscribe. It is the best way or easiest way to represent that. And of course, you can always dislike the video later as well if you so desire. All right, cool. So let's jump off right on over here. This is the first and major thing that we have confirmed in the last 24 hours since we last spoke, and that is the 5-day signal. The 5-day signal is very, very important here because we are looking at a major play likely to occur in the next 10 to 15 days based off of, well, an average of historical data. Anyways, in this case right here, I'll first go over the signal and then kind of speak about why it's important, or what to kind of expect next from a probabilistic standpoint. And in this case, the original signal was low BBWP, which represents volatility, the dispersion of returns on the 5-day chart, preferably in the mid-teens or even lower than that. The expansion phase from these levels typically leads to an average move of about 45% done over the course of 40 days. We've already seen that move, actually. We saw that move. The last signal was right on over here in early April, late March, essentially, which brought Bitcoin down from about 47 to our current lows of 25 or so over the course of 40 days, by the way. Very, very consistent with the last major signals that we've seen over the past couple years here. Anyways, the reason why this is important now is because after that signal plays out, there's a very, very, very common statistical mean reversion play, of which that means that if your first move was to the downside, the next move, mean reversion, going to be to the upside. So for example, we can pull back this one over here from May of last year. Actually, I'm sure many people remember that one. It was quite nasty indeed. And after the initial major move played out, that move from low to the next high was about almost 30%, for example, on that mean reversion play, done over the course of 10 days in this case. We can do the same thing over here. This one, obviously an upside initial signal, so the mean reversion would be a downside move. In this case, about 26% to the downside, done over the course of 50 days, or 15 days is what I mean to be saying. So I've gone through and done the analysis on all of that, and we have seen that the mean reversion move basically the average counter move after the major move has been an average about 31.1%, which if we take that from the current low of Bitcoin, that would put Bitcoin basically at around, let me actually just get it right there. An average, just around about $33,000, give or take a little bit from that number. Now, I've also only calculated just the initial downside moves and the mean reversion plays that typically happen after that. And that's actually a little bit more, as you would likely intuitively guess. And that was about 38.12%, which is actually very, very interesting right here. The reason why is because 38 something rather would put Bitcoin basically at about $35,000, which matches up with several other things, which we're going to get into in a second. Actually, no, let's get to that right now, of which one of them would be a major CME gapola that we did see back on over here from 6th of May, and then also the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement from the last major drop down to where we're currently at right now. So great confluence right there among also this chart as well, which we'll get into in a bit here. But the reason why I'm bringing this up yet again is because we do have what essentially times that signal, if you will, which is timed by the 5-day stochastic momentum officially crossing the upside. The conditions that we were looking for yesterday have been met. That is why things have changed, and well, that will be consistent now as long as Bitcoin's closed above $27,000, which so far so good. Of course, we've all seen crazier things than $4,000 move, but in this case right here, does look like Bitcoin is likely prime. So with that in mind, we do kind of expect this, again, historically speaking, based off statistics, to take about 10 to 15 days, basically 2 to 3 weeks, somewhere within that range right there, would likely make sense. Probably going to be stops along the way. Obviously, this is not happening exactly today, and I think the next thing to be speaking about is, of course, the confluence with this signal over here. This signal over here is the daily stochastic versus volatility momentum signal, which actually is giving a full-on signal now. This is exactly what we're looking for, in fact. So last week, when I was looking at this as having a higher probability of breaking to the downside, it was not confirmed just yet because we did not see all three portions of this signal, in play with each other, which is one, BBWP needs to have a positive slope. Two, the BBWP needs to be above the moving average. And then three, the moving average also needs to have a positive slope. We have that right now, as you would guess. And we also see that the daily stochastic momentum is officially to the upside. And that condition will be consistent as long as Bitcoin is above 30,000 bucks. That is to say, as long as Bitcoin is closing dailies above 30,000, the path of least resistance, or statistically speaking, more likely to move to the upside than the downside, again, stops along the way. And perhaps even targets could increase over time as well. But this signal historically has been relevant for about a 20% move, So taking that from our expansion time would put Bitcoin, guess where? Just above 35,000 bucks right there. And we do see that a lot of these signals actually do reach, even a little bit deeper into that 20% region. So it is possible that Bitcoin could go up a little bit further than that. But I do want to be on record as saying this. I don't think that Bitcoin has seen its last time below $30,000. This can take a long time. When I talk about macro analysis, it's very interesting because I always get some comments where it's like, I'll be talking about things like very fucking long term, like months down the road. And then the next day, something like this will happen. Bitcoin goes up and it's like, you were fucking wrong, man. So stupid. It's like, probably poor now. It's like, oh, okay. Sir, macro and day, kind of different there. But perhaps, you come back in about 3-4 months, sometime around, let's say like end of Q3, beginning of Q4, I do think that Bitcoin probably does still come back down below $30,000. I think it's very, very unlikely that we have, we've maybe seen the lows, but Bitcoin very likely retest somewhere around lows, like reasonably close to our current lows. So that is going to be very much decided upon how high Bitcoin gets in this next rally phase here. So if Bitcoin gets only to, 35, then, we probably come down and at least trade somewhere around like 27, 28, I'd guess. If Bitcoin goes all the way up to, let's say, like 40,000, then perhaps Bitcoin just comes back down to 29, 30, something like that. Or if Bitcoin gets stifled somewhere around like 33 or so, which I think is possible, although a little bit less likely, again, from a statistical perspective, then very likely makes slightly new lows somewhere between like 23 and 20, let's say. So ultimately, this is a really, really good sign for the long term. It is likely that Bitcoin probably doesn't trade too much lower below its current lows. But again, this is probably going to take a long time, to be quite frank with you. I do think that, at minimum, we're going to be trading within these ranges for, a while, let's say a while, like months. So yeah, anyways, that is all relevant to the higher term time frames. So now let's go down through the lower term time frames, of which we'll go into this chart over here, and we'll get off the goddamn daily because we don't need to be on this time frame for that. And what do we have? Bitcoin trading up to our next level. This was based upon the break that we saw yesterday above the 0.5, basically this region right here at about 30,700 or so. And that was initiated in the next short-term move back up to these highs right here, just in the shallow $32,000, which we've thus gotten so far. So what to expect next? Maybe a little bit of a short-term pullback, definitely possible here. Any pullback down to 31,200 is completely fine. Doesn't really mean anything. So I wouldn't really even put too much weight on that. However, if Bitcoin does start to break below 31,200, I would be looking for it to fall back down somewhere around yesterday's Bitcoin sideways range, about 30,800 to 30,500 or so. But again, as long as Bitcoin's above 30,000 bucks, especially on a daily closing basis, I'm generally looking for this to just put in a higher low and then try again higher, maybe later this week or next week, something like that. Anyways, in this case, do we see anything that's obvious right now? Very, very short-term timeframes, hourly bit bearish divergence. I don't think that's super concerning, but yeah, probably does consolidate here a little bit. 4 hour, not really much just yet, but probably a bit of sideways going on right now. Let's go reference stochastic momentum as we can on the short-term timeframes. 4 hour stochastic momentum actually will turn down below 31,450. It is kind of in the critical zone right now, but not like a death sentence in and of itself. 6 hours is going to be still vertical here as long as Bitcoin's above 31, and 3 hour is going to be showing up again in the very, very critical zone as long as Bitcoin's above 31,430. So in this case, It's probably most likely that Bitcoin spends some time going sideways here, and then I'll be using the next sort of range resolution for basically a test towards that $33,000 number. It's a little bit above $33,000, which was kind of in line with one of those more or less generous projections there. So that would imply that, let's say we see a 4-hour closure above about 32,000 and about 200, then yes, I would be looking for that next move, basically almost $1,000 higher. And then same thing for there, break above there, probably looking at a move around that $35,000 region. But again, based off statistics of this, probably still, we just literally confirmed that. So probably still 10 to 15 days away. Something like that would kind of make sense. Anyways, how deep in this video are we? I don't know because I can't see. We're 10 minutes into this video. I think that's a good place to likely leave it off. Again, in validations on the higher term time frame moves, especially below about $30,000. Until that happens, everything's kind of just higher low right here. I'll just be looking at these fib pullbacks for what it's worth right now. Cool. I think that's it. Should let you know about Instagram. Been posting a lot there recently. I'm trying to be more active and do some more like some stuff that doesn't really fit too well on YouTube over there, because I think it's just a better medium for that. And what else? Yes, Bybit. Yep, I'm going to show Bybit because they're great. Bybit's a great place to get wrecked on is what it is. No, if you want to leverage trade, obviously, I think that's probably the best exchange out right now. However, do understand that when it comes to leverage trading, just jumping on exchange is not going to make you successful. Like working on your strategies is going to make you successful, which you do not need to be, of course, risking financial equity for. You can do that for free on the Krown trading application, which by the way, right now, oh shit, I just deleted it. Whoopsies. But you can do for free right now on the Krown trading application in the trading journal. In fact, all of the premium features are free for this week, right on over here. And even the base functionality is free anyway, so you can just use it whenever you so desire. Other than that, you can use Excel, you can use pen and paper. All of that is good stuff. But I would strongly suggest, although I'm not your father, that you do work out your strategies first before ever considering trading at all whatsoever. Personal opinion. Anyways, with that said, I want to wish you well. Take care and see you hopefully soon.